Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. And I'm joined once again by Yelena. Honestly, had so much fun. The video did so well last week. So I was like, I need to bring her back on. So thank you so much for coming on the channel. How's it going?
It's good. It's so nice to be back. I had so much fun last week.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I think I'm the most excited to make a video about FPL that I've been maybe the entire season because I finally had like a really good game week. Uh, and I really trusted my gut on this one, which I was happy about because I feel like in the past couple of game weeks, I haven't really been trusting my gut and I've been getting sucked into what other people are doing. And if I had trusted my gut, maybe it wouldn't pay off all the time, but I definitely would have slept better kind of knowing that I did that.
Think we've swapped places. Last week I was really smug because I didn't play my wild card and it paid off. And then this week I've done so badly.
Well, we'll get into all of that. So I'm going to share my screen. I always struggle with this. Please be sharing the proper thing. And then I'm going to go to slideshow. Oh, and
just showing off all the graphics.
I know all of the graphics that I've spent so much time making. So I'm not a graphics person. So if you guys have any things about how I can make it better, please let me know. But for the layout, just so you guys know what you can expect from this video, we're going to go through one buy option each, one sell option for your team this week. Then we're going to go into our Game Week 27 team review, Game Week 28 team thoughts. We're going to go into some transfer options in terms of forwards and then captaincy options as well. So Yelena, I'll let you kick it off. Your buy is a Chelsea player.
I know, I've stolen this one from you. I've just been so impressed with Chilwell. I think he's such a good option to have as a defender. He's getting those attacking returns. I mean, he scored against Leicester. He got the assist against Leeds. And if I bring him in this week, it will be a -8 hit in total. But I'm so tempted to have him for that Everton fixture. I just think he looks so strong. I'm really happy with Chelsea's form at the moment. Defensively, we're looking a lot stronger. I just don't know whether it's worth taking the hit or just to wait for the double game week. What do you think?
Yeah, it's really a hard one, but I do, when we get into your team, I want to know what transfers you already made, because I think that's going to determine whether I think you should take the hit or not, or if you've already made the transfers or if you still have it planned or something. But what I love about Chilwell is that, like you said, in this new formation, he's getting forward a lot more. He's also on corners, which I think is really a plus. And we've seen that he's been trying to connect with Wesley Fofana in those corners, and that there's been a couple of opportunities where that has looked like it's going to pop off. He can be on set pieces, and he has really good shots. I just love, he passes 7 over the last 5 games, but really 4 because he's only started 4 and he's just come back from injury. So like you said, I think that he's a really good option. I was so proud of myself, honestly, for going with my gut and bringing Chilwell into my team last week, because I didn't see him in anybody's wild card drafts. And I was like, I don't know. I just have this feeling about him. And so I brought him in. And obviously Chelsea didn't keep a clean sheet. That would have been even more massive.
The icing on the cake. That would have been incredible.
Yeah, I was a little annoyed because it was such a poor goal to concede as well. But still, I do think that, Ben Chilwell, very, very good buy option. And while he's more on the premium defender side, but he's super differential at this point in time. When I checked this morning, he's 5.8% owned.
So you were so ahead of the game, honestly. That was the best call. I'm so annoyed. When I saw how well he did at the end of this game week, I was just kicking myself. I wish I'd have brought him in. But yeah, hopefully I'll learn from my mistakes. And if I do bring him in this week, it will be worth the hit.
Yeah, and that brings us to my buy. And I promise, we're both Chelsea fans. This isn't just a Chelsea FPL stream. This is something that I've been thinking about for weeks, is bringing in Kai Havertz with the change of the formation. Because Chelsea, in the previous formation, I just felt that we weren't creating much, or if we were creating, we were being super unlucky, but then we also were conceding a lot. And Kai Havertz, I think in the past couple of weeks has looked like he's got into some really, really good opportunities, scored a fantastic goal as well, like a little dink over versus Leicester.
Yeah.
I think, this is just in the league. I haven't looked at Champions League games. I think he has scored in versus Dortmund as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But one goal in the league, one goal in the Champions League. Fixtures look favorable. And I just look at shots on target 3, shots off target 3, key passes 10. Like, he's getting forward. And just from looking at the eye test, he really is starting to build something with Joao Felix, I feel. And both of them look like they're getting into good opportunities. So I forgot to change the fixtures at the top. Darn it. Well, it's meant to start with game week 28 and then go forward to the rest. Oh, I knew I was gonna forget something.
It's fine.
You guys will get the gist of it. Really sorry about that. But I am thinking, like, for this this blank game week 28 that Chelsea don't blank, he could be a really, really good option. And so, just to be extremely clear, it's meant to start in game week 28, and Chelsea play Everton at home game week 28, and then 29 Aston Villa, Liverpool, etc., etc. I'm so annoyed that I missed that.
It's all right. Everyone knows. I have just, honestly, I've revised the fixture list now. It's ingrained in my head.
Yeah. Okay. I feel less bad now. So those are our buys. Yelena, what about your sell this week?
Nico Williams, this isn't going to be a surprise because he just never plays. It's really frustrating. I think this game week he played for 17 minutes maybe. He doesn't really do too much. There was a couple of weeks ago, I can't remember who Forest were playing, but when I checked the FPL app, he had clean sheet points and I was so happy. And then they conceded. So Nico Williams has just been there because I haven't had any better options. Whereas now I've saved some money, I've got money in the bank, I can bring Chilwell in and actually have a player that's going to get those minutes in. And like I said, potentially the attacking returns. Nico Williams, I would love to keep him on, but I just don't think there's any need, even with the double game week coming up. I don't see him getting that much like play time, to be honest. So yeah, I think he'll be going. And I mean, look at the stats. There's not really much there, is there?
Started one. I think, like, he was a mainstay in my team for a large part of this season just because of how cheap he was.
Yeah.
And then, but I think if you're looking to bench boost as well, you really want to get as many assets as possible. So I do think that this makes sense. And that brings me to my sell. And this maybe is a little bit controversial. Haaland. Why am I selling Haaland, who has the most points in the game, has broken the 200 mark already, and scored like 5 goals versus Leipzig midweek. Basically, because they blank in game week 28, and then 29, he doesn't have a double, and he plays Liverpool at home. In the reverse fixture, I think it finished 1-0 to City. Haaland hadn't scored. And so I'm just thinking, like, for game week 28, I can sell Haaland and bring in somebody like a Kai Havertz who isn't going to blank. And then for game week 29, Kai Havertz also has a double, given one of those fixtures is against Liverpool as well. But you have the benefit of having that second fixture. And the thing with City and with Liverpool that I find so freaking hard to predict this season is how they're going to do, because Liverpool have been so up and down that you have some games where they beat teams 9-0 versus Bournemouth, 7-0 versus United, but then they'll lose again 1-0 versus Bournemouth or 6-2 to Real Madrid. And so I don't know how many they're going to concede, if Man City are going to slaughter them, or if Man City are going to have a bit of a quiet game, because some games you expect them to score loads and they'll get away with 1 goal. So that's kind of my thinking. I think I'm going to take a punt on Havertz for 2 weeks and sell Haaland. And he's also so highly owned that if people don't have him for game week 29 and he does, if people do have him for game week 29 and he does nothing and I don't have him, that could be a really big different.
This is my fear, and I'm concerned that Liverpool City will be really high scoring, and suddenly Salah will be getting hat tricks, Haaland will be getting hat tricks, and I've got neither. It would just be the way. It's classic FPL.
Yeah, that's what I'm nervous about as well. So I just like I don't quite know what to do, but I guess let's go into our team so that we can talk about it a little bit. So Yelena, this was your game week 27 team. You did good, like 82 points. The average was 47 at the time that you took the screenshot.
Yeah, I think the average has gone up now to about 63, but I swear everyone on Twitter hit over 100 points. Everyone was tweeting about the 100 club, and I was nowhere near there. No, it was a frustrating game week. I'm pleased the captaincy with Tony paid off. Against Everton, I think he only got 2 points, and I was stressing out about that one, and I thought I should have gone for McAllister. But thankfully, he actually scored a goal and got an assist when he was playing. Was it Palace they played in the second game?
I honestly don't remember, but I can check quickly.
It's all blurring into one.
It is all blurring into one. I'll check on my phone quickly while you keep talking.
So that was disappointing, but obviously it paid off in the end. And then Watkins, I was really pleased. He scored a goal, and he's been in my team for ages, actually. So it's nice when he finally does something. And I think last game week he blanked, so I was a little bit concerned that he was out of his like mojo. But we were all good. I think the most frustrating thing with my team this week was the bench. Odegaard and White benched on there, which is so annoying. And then nothing from Saka. I think this is the problem, though, with having so many good players. You're always going to end up benching ones that are going to do really well. So not beating myself up about it too much, but it is annoying to look at now. And then Salah blanking after his blooming 21 points, whatever it was he had before. He's so all or nothing.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I don't own Salah, and I haven't for a long time, in basically for that, because I just feel like it's a lot of money invested in the position, and he hasn't been giving the return that I would expect for somebody in that position. And I think like another interesting point with your team that I'm kind of like struggling with as well is I own Saka. I had Odegaard. I don't own him after the wild card anymore. But Martinelli's also starting to hit off again as well. And if you look at the stats, like they're all pretty even on points over the course of the season, but Saka hasn't had any returns in like the last 3 game weeks or something like this. And so I'm thinking like, is it worth transferring him out at some point to try to bring in like an Odegaard or Martinelli who are cheaper?
This is my problem because I had Saka, I think, before the World Cup break, and then I used my wild card, got rid of him, and then he was on fire, and I was absolutely kicking myself for not being more patient with him. But I completely agree. And then having triple Arsenal, I don't know whether to kind of branch out a little bit. I don't know. It's so hard because I feel as though the standard this year is so high, and it's for cheaper players. So it's really difficult trying to figure out who to bring in and who to get rid of.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But let's move to your game week 28 team to try to talk through the moves a little bit.
Help me.
Obviously, obviously you have like 3 blankers, so that's a bit set. But you mentioned taking a -8. So have you taken these transfers already? Like 1 or 2 or anything? Do you have any in the bank? And what moves are you thinking about making?
So I had 1 free transfer, and I've taken -4 already. So I took out Haaland, I brought in Kane. Kane really impacted my rank this week, and I could have done so much better if I'd have brought him in. But I think last game week I was happy with my front 3, so I thought I could wait, but I can't now. So Haaland's out, Kane's in, and obviously Spurs actually have a fixture this game week, so I'm really happy with that decision. And then I took out Salah to bring in Maddison. I don't know if I am happy with that transfer. I think I am. I think Leicester's fixtures look quite good. They're playing Brentford this game week, which it could go either way. But then they've got Palace and Villa for their double, which I'm really hoping Maddison just scores goals galore. And then that's followed by, I think, Bournemouth in game week 30. So the fixtures look really strong. And I'm hoping this transfer pays off. And then, as I touched on, I'm tempted to take out Nico Williams for Chilwell. But I don't like taking hits, and then taking a -8 to me is terrifying. So I don't know whether to just keep it as this.
Yeah, it's hard because you brought in kind of like two players that I had. I was so happy about Madison as well. Side note, like I couldn't believe my luck with calling this. I run into Chilwell Madison and then I see all over FPL Twitter, like everybody's like, oh, I'm bringing in these two. I was like, wow, I'm never so ahead of the curve. But I think the thing with your team as well is like, even if and I think a lot of wildcarders are in the same boat because we have triple Brighton assets, is that like I only will field, if I transfer Haaland out, which I'm pretty sure that I will, I'll field 10 players, not 11. And
Yeah.
so with this team already, you're fielding 11, but is Williams going to start? And will he keep a clean sheet against Newcastle?
Yeah, this is my fear.
So I think if you think about it, if you take a -4, I saw somewhere that like the probability that Chelsea will keep a clean sheet is like 50-60% against Everton at home, something like this. Does it outweigh the fact that, you know, how much return is Williams really going to get you?
This is the thing, and then I get concerned that I'll actually end up in a situation where Nico Williams gets me minus points, which will really irritate me. But I think at least I've got Kepa in goal, so I am covered there with Chelsea.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I wish I'd have saved my transfers so I could have used my 2 free transfers on Kane and Madison and then just taken a -4 to bring in Chilwell. But it's the -8. I think that'll be the biggest hit I've taken this season.
I know I took one for that game week that everybody was wild carding and I didn't. And I took a -8 and it didn't even pay off. And I was just like, oh, I think you just have to feel comfortable with it and think like, oh, is this going to help me? Like it could be a massive advantage for you to be able to field 11 players, which like I'm not able to do. But is that going to give you so much knowing that it's going to have like an additional point drop? Maybe not. Like, are you going to be able to make up 8 points with Chilwell?
Yeah.
Maybe not this week. So I would probably hold, to be honest.
Yeah,
Wait.
talking it through, I think this looks fine. And then hopefully either Nico Williams comes on and then gets taken off with some clean sheet points, which would be great. I mean, the only thing that's kind of I'm confident about with the fixture is that it's home to Forest and they are always much better at home. But then they also concede a lot of goals. So I don't think they will be necessarily keeping a clean sheet. But hopefully I'll just pray for like minimal damage with Nico Williams.
Yeah. Cool. And I'm really jealous that you have Odegaard in your team because I don't know how I'm feeling about Saka at the moment. Like he's kind of driving me a bit nuts. But this was my team. So
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that I broke the 100 mark. And I did March as captain. That was like a differential. I was so freaking annoyed that they chalked off the goal that the Premier League then ended up saying that he scored, because that would have been the real difference maker for me, because that's an additional probably like 5 to 7 points times 2. And the fact that like nobody else captained him, that could have taken me like really over the top. So I was a little bit sad about that. But overall, I really like this team. My bench didn't fit, but I had, let me just check. I had a lot of points on my bench, which was frustrating, but like you said, when you're kind of planning to bench boost, that's going to happen. So I had Kappa 3, Trippier 5, Madison 2, Zinchenko 6.
Wow.
So really, I wish that I had Trippier in for Saka and Zinchenko in for Rashford. But going into this, like I would have never put 5 defenders in the back. So I'm quite happy with my team. This
It
is
looks fantastic.
Thank you. It's like
I'm so jealous.
it's the first time that like anything has worked out for me this season in FPL, and I really feel like it's because I listen to my gut, and I do have like a quite similar team to others, but I listened to my gut on Chilwell. I brought in Madison early because I knew that he was looking good, and I was like, I don't think he's going to do anything versus Chelsea, but versus Chelsea he was getting into a lot of good positions as well. So oops, I went the wrong way. So let's see. This is my team for this week. Currently, you'll see that I have 9 players, 2 blanking, but I do think that I'm going to do Haaland out for Havertz. But I'm really swaying. Like, do I bring in Watkins? That's a bit of a safer pick. I'm also I'm not going to do anything with Saka right now, but I'm also thinking like for game week 29, Arsenal have a single. Do I bring in maybe another double game week player instead? I want to see how he gets on versus Crystal Palace and kind of who the goal scorers are between Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, and kind of make a decision off of that. But that kind of brings us into this topic. Like most people, or at least on FPL Twitter that I've seen, a lot of people are selling Haaland. You brought in Harry Kane because you didn't have Harry Kane. I've seen a lot of people with Harry Kane, Tony, and then the third one is kind of up for grabs. Seen a lot of Ollie Watkins, a couple of shouts for Kai Havertz. So I put together this graphic that kind of shows, okay, this is their ownership, their price point. They're all very, very similar price points as well as stats. So kind of, Yelena, looking at this, like, who do you think that you would be leaning towards?
So I've had Ollie Watkins on my team for so long. So now that people are bringing him in, it kind of puts me off of him, which I'm not going to transfer him out because I'm committed to him. But I really like the idea of bringing in Havertz, and it's the ownership as well. I mean, Ollie Watkins, I think his ownership is going to go so high by the time we get to the deadline. And then Havertz, I just feel as though he's probably the safest pick. I think I'm going to actually butcher. Is it João Felix?
He said it's Felix, not Felix, but it's super hard to.
I'm so English. I can't do any pronunciations.
Yeah.
If I was braver and probably in a more comfortable rank, I would be really tempted to go for him. But I don't know if we've seen enough yet. But then Chelsea's fixtures are quite appealing. I think if you're going to have a bit more fun with it, I would go for João. We'll just keep it a João. But I think, the safest option would probably be Watkins. But like I said, the high ownership kind of puts me off now.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And I actually was like going back and forth between Havertz and Felix because Joao Felix, what these stats don't tell you is that he's hit the post or the bar probably like 5 times in the last 5 games or so. So he's getting into really good positions and just hasn't been able to put the ball in the back of the net. But he's looked really good. The other thing that I think about, I'm pretty sure that Kai Havertz has played like full 90s the last 3 game weeks or the last 3 games. And for example, versus Leicester, Felix was hooked at halftime. So I'm thinking like minutes wise, maybe Havertz is a bit of a smarter decision. So I'm pretty sold that I'm going to do Haaland Havertz at least for 1 to 2 game weeks and then kind of see how it goes. Because he has looked good. He's finally starting to find his form. The goal versus Leicester was super, super cheeky and well taken. And I think that Chelsea are finally getting to a place where we're starting to win games and we look like the better team, still conceding chances. Like, I think that it was a bit lucky that Leicester didn't score more because they had some really clear-cut opportunities. But I do think going forward, having Ben Chilwell and hopefully Reece James back on the flanks running up improves the team so much. So that's kind of my thoughts. And that brings us to captaincy. Yeah, so the main options that I've been seeing on Twitter are Harry Kane, Ivan Toney, or some Arsenal asset. I have Saka in my team, but this could be an Odegaard or it could be a Martinelli as well. So I kind of compared the two. So who are you thinking as a captaincy option?
So initially I was thinking Kane, but it's an away fixture and Tony is playing at home. And I just think Brentford might have the edge because it's that home fixture, but there's really not that much in it. I don't think I'd go for an Arsenal asset just because it could be any of them. I think it's a bit too risky and I will kick myself if I captain Saka and then again, he ends up having just no goal involvement. So
Yeah.
I think at the moment I'm leaning towards Tony. And also because I haven't had Kane in my team for so long, I think it would probably be a bit much to bring him in and then captain him. Whereas Tony, I've relied on for so long. Yeah, I think I'll be going Tony, backing the Brentford fixture.
Yeah, like right now my captaincy is on Kane, but I'm also between Kane and Tony. Saka I'm staying away from at the moment. But like Martinelli has looked in really good form, but I just don't think that I would have the guts to captain an Arsenal midfielder because like you said, they're really like sharing the goals between the three of them and anybody could realistically score. Whereas I feel like Harry Kane and Ivan Toney are more of like if Spurs score, if Brentford score, it's probably going to be one of these players. I don't know. I just think like Southampton, even though it's away, bottom of the league. Are they still bottom of the league? Let me just double check.
I've stopped when Chelsea were going through. I feel like Chelsea are warming up now. We're okay, but I just stopped looking at the league table.
Yeah, there's a thing, like, and it's been changing so much in the relegation. Okay, yeah, they are bottom of the league. I'm not going crazy because they're so close between 12th Crystal Palace has 27 points and Southampton in 20th has 22 points. So there's just 5 points that separate 12th and 20th, which is
That's
insane.
crazy.
But yeah, bottom of the league, Southampton, like, even though they're away, are Spurs going to do something? Are they just going to be Spursy? I don't know. But I think I'm leaning more towards Harry Kane because he's been a mainstay in my team and I've just brought Tony in.
Yeah, complete opposite.
So, but I don't know. And if you look at the stats, they both average 7 points over the last 3 games, and they both have 3 goal contributions as well. Harry Kane with 3 goals and Ivan Toney with 2 goals and an assist. So really, really tight one there. But oh my God, we've been talking for almost half an hour. I was planning for this to be like a 15-minute thing, and we doubled that because there's just so much to talk about. But I think that we've covered everything. What do you think?
That's all the key bits. I think we've done a good job.
All right, cool. Well, Yelena, thank you so much for joining once again, and let everybody know where they can find you.
You can follow me on Twitter and TikTok at Yelena FPL. I've started doing TikToks now. I was doing some match day TikToks, and then now I'm trying to do more FPL based ones. And it's going well. It's just so fun, isn't it, on there?
I know, like, I just like don't know how to edit videos well. So I need to figure it out because I feel like that's key with TikTok. But I definitely want to see what you're doing so that I can get tips about how to make my videos better on TikTok.
Mine are all terrible, but I have fun doing them.
You're really selling people to go
watch my awful TikToks. Just smiling throughout.
Cool, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and that it was informative. If you liked it, make sure to drop it a like. Follow Yelena. I'll have all of the socials in the description box down below. And while you're at it, might as well follow me as well. So best of luck with your game weeks this week. Fingers crossed for green arrows, and hope you guys have a great rest of your day, evening, whatever time you're watching this. And until next time, I'm out. Bye.
Bye.